really a question about whether or not you're going to run for governor, but I have a couple questions. If you do run, do you have a deadline in your own mind about when you would announce and let people know you're running? Because there probably are probably other people sitting back who may run but would not run if you ran. And have you been raising money? Do you have a pool of money that's being accumulated for your
Yeah,
run?
yeah. Well, thanks for asking the question. You know, I grew up in a town of about 300 people, and I still think of it in terms like, you know, are you, somebody that's worthy of serving as the state's representative as governor? I mean, that's pretty, it's honorable position to be able to be considered for. But I just see what's happening in our state. We've missed out on internet sales tax, our roads, our education, system, our mental health system. There's so many failures, and they had opportunities, to get revenue, be it the lottery keyed for straight for pre-K education, I think, or at least education. There's just a lot of missed opportunities that you could have passed had we had leadership over here in the legislature. Their votes were there on those four issues right now. And so it would be that easy, I think, to do some things to get our economy going. We got a 1% growth rate since the Great Recession. States around us have 16%. That tells you something's wrong. We're missing big picture issues like Tennessee just made statewide. If you want a free community college education, you can get that. And we already do it in my 5 counties. It cost Chickasaw County $8,000 last year. Send every kid that wanted to go to Itawamba Community College that couldn't get a scholarship otherwise if it kept to or whatever. That is huge. That teaches them the technology skills that keeps them from leaving to go out of state because they don't have all that debt. It allows them to do a startup and stay in our state. I mean, technology startups will be the wave of our future here, small businesses. And, but we're losing those smart kids, our best and brightest, at a rate for the past 6 years. We've lost more kids than any other state in the union. So seeing us sliding backwards because of wrong decisions by the legislature puts me in a position of where of looking at something I've never envisioned doing, of running for governor. So I am exploring that idea. I am raising money to get in a position where we can do that, if that's what my wife decides we need to do. That's the problem. Debbie hadn't made that decision, and it's a lot more involved in being AG's wife. It's your social media, your family gets hammered in the mix, and man, those are considerations that a mother's got to think through. And so we hadn't made that decision, probably somewhere in the next, at least within the next year. We would have to, she would have to kind of make that call. And so anyway, thanks for asking, but I just see opportunities where the least among us have gotten kicked to the curb. And all these people that run around here and get elected thumping the Bible saying, how great they are and all that, they don't read it. They don't read in the New Testament where Jesus talked more about taking care of the widows, orphans, and the elderly than anything. Not all the other social issues and all these other things. It is just frustrating to see that good group of people that I go to church with on Sundays, being taken advantage of by politicians who are being run by large out-of-state corporations. And that is actually a fact. You can see it in this $416 million tax cut that was recently passed. Guess what percentage of the $416 million will go to out-of-state corporations? 78%. And you know how I know that? Yeah, all you got to do is go back to the Department of Revenue and look back as to who paid it before this tax cut went into effect. So 78% of the taxes paid on franchise taxes were paid by out-of-state corporations. And when you're not taking care of the least among us, the mentally ill, and all those people in need of health care, for the benefit of large out-of-state corporations, you won't even help your in-state businesses. You won't fix the roads when we don't fix this internet sales tax issue. It's upside down. When large out-of-state corporations are controlling our government, we got to take it back over, and that's what motivates me to explore this possible run for governor.
You said within a year.
That's what the experts tell you. You have to, be pretty much in a position. You don't ever announce till after you qualify or what, the official thing. Y'all have seen this a lot more than I have. But, the last thing I want to do is drag Debbie into something that she doesn't want to do. I just couldn't deal with having to hear, we shouldn't have done this, And I wouldn't want to get drug in. I mean, it's just part of, get drug into something that you would be life-changing. I mean, it would take 8 years off your life just the stress of holding that job, probably. It's kind of a consideration.
Have you ruled out running for re-election?
No, I'm happy what I'm doing. I mean, this technology, the things that I've been talking about today, I love that part. Coming in every day and being able to, through you, warn people about crimes so they're not victims. That's the fun part. That's when it works. Now, when it falls to the prosecution part, somebody's already gotten hurt. That's a large part of what we do. But that's deterrent also. That hopefully prevents a lot of people from committing crime. So, I enjoy what I do, and I guess I'll be dumb, fat, and happy whatever Debbie decides.
You're the only Democrat who's been elected to statewide office, and it's hyper partisan now. You look at what's going on in the Alabama Senate race. Do you have a strategy? Because you must have a strategy, or be thinking about one of how you would pull that off to win the governorship here in Mississippi in a highly red state.
Yeah, well, there are undercurrents changing our politics right now. A lot of moderates on both sides are nervous about the extremists on both sides, and so I've gotten as much encouragement to run almost by Republicans as I have Democrats. A lot of those people who have supported Republicans over the past 25 years financially, they're business people before they're partisan, and they know our state is not moving economically. I mean, you go to the coast, some areas around Jackson are okay, Madison and different places, and Oxford and Starkville and DeSoto, but you go to, towns like mine, that recession took the wind out of us, and we haven't moved. And business people know, if we're building highways, working people are working, they're swinging a hammer, and they got money to go to town on Saturday. It's the economy. It would lift the economy. So would expansion of Medicaid. That was $11 billion, 11,000 jobs. We'd have been building clinics, been more doctors moving in. Those are good paying jobs in those clinics. There's some stat for every doctor in a town, it generates $1.6 million a year. I mean, those are good paying, and they've left our small towns. We didn't expand Medicaid. Houston, Mississippi lost our emergency room. We didn't expand Medicaid. My grandfather was a doctor there. We've had an emergency room my whole life. And you've got, a town in 4,000 population in rural Mississippi has worse health care in 2017 than we had in 1940.